Going on. My name is Anuraj. I'm talking about web development in ASP.NET. How many of you are worked on .NET Core? Okay, so it's an intro session. So this is what I am covering today. Getting started with ASP.NET Core, dependency injection, working with databases, tokenization, writing your own middleware, and how can you use scaffold documentation using OpenAPI as well. So ASP.NET is a free, open source, cross-platform modular framework from Microsoft. You can run ASP.NET Core or .NET Core on Linux, Mac, Docker, Raspberry Pi, everywhere. In ARM, x64, x86, So it's a complete rewrite to ASP.NET framework or .NET framework, and it's fully open source. You can contribute the source if you have. So to get started, you need SDK. You can download it from .NET, and I'm using Visual Studio Code. It's a cross-platform editor. So I'm specifically talking about ASP.NET Core 2.1. I'm using a very early build. It's 2.1. It's yet to release on May 30th. So these are the new features as part of GDPR. How many of you are working related to GDPR? Okay, so as part of GDPR, they are coming up with always running on HTTPS, so that's by default. And new web API conventions for which Swagger support. New API controller attribute will now perform automatic validation. A new type action sort of T. Then webhooks. So let me open. So I'm creating a project. So once you install SDK, you will get a .NET command. So this is the thing, and you can get the version here. It's 2.1.3. It's yet to release. It's coming with RC support, so you can use it for production. So to get started, you can say .NET new, and if you need whatever templates, you can say help, which will display all the templates available in ASP.NET as part of this installation. I didn't install any other template than the default ones. So these are coming by default. ASP.NET Core MT, Web App, Razor Pages. So here I am creating .NET new API. So I can say O means output, hello. It will create a project, and it will restore the packages. stored. So I'm opening that project in PS4. So you can say code dot. So here is the structure. Like you have a program which is nothing but static void main, then startup.cs, then controllers. Okay. Anyway, Prasid is going to talk detail about dependency injection. But in ASP.NET Core or .NET Core, dependency injection is the base. Everything, unlike web forms or earlier version of MVC, everything is dependency injection.
See the screen.
So, dependency injection is a technique for achieving loose coupling between objects and their collaborators. And there are mainly three types of dependency injection. Interface one, property injection, and construction injection. By default, ASP.NET out of the box, it supports constructor injection. So these are the three types of lifetime. That means if you are injecting a dependency to the HTTP pipeline or app, it can support three types of object creation. So singleton means it will get only one object for the full application. Scope means created once per request, and transient lifetime services are created each time they are requested. So, similar to this, but the difference is it is recommended for small stateless services. So you are able to read, right? Or should I?
I think we can switch off. It's already switched off. That's not working. It's better. Good.
Okay. So this is like normal web API controller. Only difference is this is a new attribute API controller, and instead of controller, it is inheriting from controller base. What's the advantage of API controller attribute? So if you are sending a post request, so usually what we used to do, if there is a model state is valid, not valid, then we will say okay, return bad request. So this code we used to write everywhere, right? But once you put API controller and attribute, runtime will do it automatically. You don't need to specify model state. You don't need to check whether model state is valid or not. It will manage internally, and it will throw like a bad request. So this is one project. It's a like English Malayalam dictionary. I have a CSV file. It's a database, and I have a controller which has a method find. So which is, if you look at this, I am injecting this dictionary service. So let me go to the definition. So it's an AI dictionary service. So it is just one method. I roll up definition, find meaning, and it's text. And if I go to the controller, this is getting injected in the constructor. Okay. Now, like in earlier versions of MVC, if you are creating a controller with a constructor, parameter is constructor, but it will throw an exception, right? Like it could not find the parameterless constructor. So what we used to, we will create a controller factory. Then in that implementation, we will do some like reflection based or using any other DA framework we use to inject. So here, ASP.NET, as I mentioned earlier, by default supports construction, dependency injection. So this is where I can inject services. So I am injecting AI dictionary service. So what CSV dictionary service, what it do, is reading from a this app data folder, the CSV, and this is the parsing logic, and I am returning this one. Any questions? Okay. Everyone understand or? Okay, I hope understood. Okay, so like I mentioned, everything is dependency injection. Let me run that. So I am putting breakpoints here. I am running Postman. I'm actually, if you look at this, localhost, API, dictionary, and I'm calling hello. Nice. Internal server. Okay. Some service I injected. So it at the breakpoint. So it got injected and it is returning some results. Any questions? Okay. I hope Any questions? I am moving to databases. Okay. So next, how do I work with databases? Like by default, it supports EF core. So I'll show how we can like the existing EF cores like approaches DB first and code first. Both will be available in EF core as well. So here what I'm going to do. So first you need to add to enable migrations. First you need to add Microsoft Entity Framework Design reference. Then once you add that, you can create the model classes. Then you can create the DB context, and you can run .NET migrations add migration name. Then .NET database update command to build the database. So I have a definition model. I created this, and this is the user model. Then I already added the reference of .NET EF. Earlier versions of .NET Core, we need to add the reference of .NET Tools to get the command. As part of 2.1, they are coming up with global tools. So by default, you will get the once you install the SDK, you will be getting the tools. So .NET EF is the tool for Entity Framework command line tools. So here you can say .NET EF migrations. It will show of what all things you can do with this. Then so it's I already created the migration. I'm not able to do it again. So here is the migration script. It is created. In this solution, I am following a hybrid approach where I am using an existing database plus I am doing some code first also. So these definitions, you saw the CSU, right? I moved that CSU to SQL, and here is the database. And then I am adding users table. So here what I am doing, I created the migrations, then I am removing the definitions table creation because it's already there, and seeding everything I am doing here. So in earlier versions we used to do seeding in the startup code or as part of DB context, we are doing in the migration script. And this is again injecting as dependency. So this is the way it is getting injected. Add DB context. Add DB context is an extension method which is basically doing like services dot add scope. Then so this is what it actually doing. Add DB context. It's an extension method which helps us to inject DB context to the controller. And in the controllers, you will be able to get it like this. Okay, and what I'm doing, I'm just using it here. Like I'm looking for changes in the post. Any questions?
That would produce a response like type of definition proven. That's what particular program.
That's a new attribute. That's for Swagger support. I'll come to that later. Any other questions? Okay, so this one middleware. So in earlier versions of ASP.NET MVC, we have HTTP modules. What more was there? Handler. So middleware actually replaces both these things. So in ASP.NET Core, you can inject a middleware to the HTTP pipeline, and there is no base class, nothing like that. It's a convention based. You just need one method, invoke, or invoke async, and you need a constructor which accepts request delegate. So here is one middleware. This is again for demo purpose. What it do? It will start a stopwatch and check how much time it took to give the response, and it returns as part of the header. And this is the way Microsoft recommended to use inject middleware. So if you look at this application builder, use response time. That is the method I am using the startup class. Builder dot use middleware, and I need to pass the middleware. If your middleware accepts any other parameter, you can pass it here. And this is the recommended namespace for middlewares. And in startup code, I am adding links. So this is an extension method which injects the middleware to the HTTP pipeline. If I am running it, if you go to the headers, you will be able to see response time milliseconds.
So in what order it security you have two middleware?
It's based on the how you place.
How you describe? How you up and down?
Yeah. And certain, if you are not calling await next, it will stop there. It won't go to the next middleware. So certain middlewares like static files, they will not. That's the final middleware. So once you call the static middleware, unfortunately I don't have static middleware, static files. So that's the final one. Once you once the execution of that middleware is complete, the response is done. After you write put any middleware, it won't execute. That's about middleware. Any other questions? Okay. I'm using ASP.NET Core support variety of authentication methods. For Web API, it is we are using token authentication, JWT. So it is very easy to configure. Everything, whatever code you are writing, most of the code is in startup.cs. So you just need to say add authentication, this JWT authentication scheme, and these are the various parameters. So JWT, unique, issuer, audience, all this sign EX. Feel free to stop me in between if you have any questions. Once you do this, then you need to inject the middleware. So this is app.use authentication. So these are the changes. It's part of 2.1. In earlier versions, it was more complex. Then in the controller, you can say authorize, which will block the anonymous users, and for getting the current user, I have a service current user, and here is the implementation. I am checking the identity name from the database and returning the current user, which I am using, which is again injected in the controller. Then I can access the current user, get current user. Any questions? So here is my registration method. I have account controller. Here I am doing registration. Here nothing related to token, nothing. Just registration. And here is my method which returns token. So here I am creating two claims, email and ID. Then here is the structure of the token. So it has metadata and body. and I am putting an expiry of 60 days, and I am returning the token. So this is the registration, and if I run this, I'll get a token like this. And for here is one post method. Where I am putting authorize. I can pass it as header, where and my top. Okay. This is the way I can consume JW. Any questions so far? So next is how can I scaffold code? So first you need code generation design tool. So .NET and language. This is the way you are doing a reference in .NET Core. So it successfully got added. You need a reference. Codes. So the other one also got added. If I go to project, you will be able to see tools, these two references. Okay, so this is the new project CS project structure. So if you look at the existing 4x or 4.x, this is much lesser code. The current .NET projects, if you look at the project structure, it is very complicated. You won't understand. This is more easier. Then you need to add this. So I am not adding that entry. After that I am trying to generate. Here you need to specify the DB context. Saying there is no pseudo matching command not found. Oops, I am missing that. topics. Okay. Sorry for that because I tried with preview file, but now I'm using some different one. So I'm also buying Swagger support. You heard of Swagger? Swagger, it's like earlier versions of WebAPI, it's very complex, but here you just need to reference this package /pattern ASP.NET Core. Then in the starter, you just need to say add Swagger gen, then use Swagger and use Swagger. By default, it will generate the UE form. So this is the generated Swagger. You can try out things here. So by specifying like root prefix empty, it will instead of showing a 404 page, it will load the Swagger UAPs for your AP. Any questions? Okay. You asked about the producer's type, right? That is for this one. So it is for this. What all things it can return. So if you get 200, that's success. 400, that. If you look at this can return. This will return responses. So for that you need to otherwise Swagger should not identify which all things is returned.
And one more, that authorized attribute using whether it is using for Windows only and whether that user is correct or validating using Windows.
No, it's validating against JWT token. So since I have only one authentication scheme. No, it doesn't depend on how many authentications you have. It is validating whether that user is authorized or not. It is looking for HTTP use context.user.identity.is authentication. Any questions? Okay, thank you.